Hello, everybody. My name is Elijah, and I'm here with my brother Troy Boy. This is our very first podcast. We want to make a podcast, and we've been wanting to do this for a long time, and everybody's telling us that it's a good idea that we should make a podcast. So we're making our very first podcast. It's January 1st, 2021. Or, sorry, not 21 anymore. It just turned to, surprisingly, 2022. 2021 can take a hike. It's out of here. What we want to do is we want to talk about some of the real life, true experiences that Troy Boy and I have had throughout our days. We want to go ahead and bring you some excellent content. If you have any suggestions or ideas for us, go ahead and let us know in the comments what you think. If you have any suggestions, then go ahead and drop them down there as well. If you like the show, let us know in the comments. Give us a like. We'll talk about pretty much anything random, anything and everything. But we're tonight we kind of want to focus on some of the more interesting things. We want to make this the best we can be, and we do apologize for the audio quality on this very first podcast because right now Troy Boy is actually on the phone. And I'm in the studio, he's on the phone, so if there's a difference in our audio quality, then it may just be that, but I'll try to clean this up as best as I can if there's any issues with it. With that said, welcome, Troy Boy. Welcome, Troy. How you doing, bro?
Hey, hey, bro. I'm very actually excited that you'd actually let me come back. It's been a while since I've actually been able to be on the show again, and I've been sick for a while. Everybody knows that I've been sick for a while. Well, not everybody, but I've been sick for a little while, and I'm really glad that we're doing a podcast together because it's been a while.
Yeah, Troy's,
And
uh,
I'm
sorry.
recovering slowly. I've been sick, so yeah. Go ahead.
Sorry, bro. I didn't mean to step on you. I was just gonna say, Troy, you've been sick for a while. You had some pneumonia actually, and he's been down with pneumonia.
Yes.
So forgive him if he is a little bit, if his voice is a
Um.
little bit rough, because it's not.
Hey guys, I'm gonna have a cough every once in a while, and we're gonna probably edit this and try not to butcher up too bad. But my voice does not sound. I know you're gonna say, "Oh, that's not Troy Boy. It's me, Troy Boy." I know I sound like I'm on something. I'm not. It's just my voice is a little ruffled, and I have some drainage. I had double pneumonia, bacterial infection. I've been battling that for like 5 days, and I'm just now starting to recover before I could talk again. So that's why I'm a little sick.
I mean,
But yeah, not been fun.
It's
Go
it's
ahead.
I mean it's a great way to start the first podcast. Unfortunately, but hey, Troy is here. He is very brave. I'm very proud of him for actually coming in when he's sick, even though he's sick. And it's like 10 degrees outside, blowing snow. January 1st, we just got back from watching the ball drop over Times Square in New York. And I mean, honestly, it wasn't an overexciting show, but it was something.
Can you call it a show, eh?
It was something. I guess you gotta, at the end of the day, you gotta say, okay, well, we've been through hell and back in 2021, so it was something rather than nothing. So at this
Well,
point, you know, I guess you gotta take it at face
we
value.
and you've been wanting this for a while. We got to share this story. I mean, we've been meaning to share these stories for a while, the paranormal stories, and I'm really glad that I can share them with you. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, guys. You can skip the boring parts if you want to, but
Um.
it's time to get in story mode.
Sure.
I'll
Yeah.
tell you.
We wanted to share some of our more interesting kind of the stories that are absolutely true, 100% beyond a shadow of a doubt, that have actually happened to us, that we feel are it's adamant as paranormal investigators. Troy and I, as everybody knows, we are both paranormal investigators. We're both paranormal investigators, gamers.
I'm special
Um,
in my own way. I mean, I'm not your typical paranormal investigator. I have some abilities to me that are natural. And anyone who's watched this knows that there's some things I pick up on that a lot of people don't. And we have both encountered a lot of things in the spirit world, but a realm, I should say. But back in, I believe it was, what year was that, bro? Remember when the pickup truck, we took the pickup truck out to the apartment. Remember that? And I was having problems with the computer. Remember that story, bro?
Oh yeah, I remember that. So
Yeah.
basically, I guess I could start us off. I guess,
Start with, or
sorry?
you can start with the computer tech part of it
Okay,
and your side,
so,
and until what during the process.
basically, any technological stuff between, we've got two studios here. I've got, Troy's studio, we've got my studio, and basically there's two studios for 85 studios. Between
And
the
it
two
was
of
the
them,
one that second floor apartment.
okay. So, if I'm remembering correctly, I think this was back in 2017, you're talking about.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
I am
Back when it
a
was
certified Microsoft computer tech. I went to school for it, so I do all of our computer maintenance. I built Troy's computer for him, and I built one for me. They're exactly the same computer, or they were, until I had to change parts out in mine that because I had a failure, hardware failure, and at the time, Troy was having some trouble with his computer. And so I had gone out and I had decided that I was going to help him out. And so he lived in Hutchinson, Kansas at the time in a second story apartment, tiny little apartment, um, over on
very
Severance Street in Hutchinson, across from the Armory. And
yeah.
basically, what ended up happening was I thought we were going to be out there quick, and I actually had to work the night shift that day. So we came out pretty early in the morning. Troy came out. He came out in his pickup truck, went to come pick me up, and I went out there with him. Well, what I didn't realize when I packed everything in my pockets, I always keep my insulin with me. I'm a diabetic. I'm a type 1 diabetic, insulin dependent. That's what keeps me alive. And as anybody who's a diabetic or knows anybody who's diabetic knows, you got to have insulin to basically stay alive, or your body can't process sugar, and so you will go into a coma and you will eventually die. So I'm packing everything up. I'm getting out there. It's only 22 miles. It's not a big deal. I figure. I think it was a cloudy day, but it wasn't really raining. We were expecting some rain, so I was like, fine, okay, whatever. And I go out there with him in the truck, and I go in, and the interesting part didn't really occur while we were working on the computer, but Troy's apartment out in Hutchinson was just super haunted, and both of us have mediumistic capabilities. We are both super sensitive to the paranormal. We're both very in tune with.
Okay, all right. So I'm sorry to interrupt you. I'm trying to do this properly. This is our first time doing this. We were on the way there, and remember I said, brother, I said we have some problems. The truck is getting hot, and I don't know why. Remember, on the interstate on the way there, truck was pushing 220 degrees, and then it would cool back down to 185, and I'm like, what the heck is going on? Why is it doing this? And we're in an old pickup truck, a 1990 Chevy pickup, an old pickup, square body.
Yeah,
And I'm thinking to myself, like, okay, this is good old Rusty, as I
yeah,
call him a truck. I call him a Rusty,
he's
white
gonna make it
Rusty.
through. It's an old Chevy. It's a square body,
Chevy.
and
It's
it's
got a big
tough as
block
nails.
350.
It's like
Yeah, it's
tough
tough
as
as nails.
nails. It's
There's
it's
no
it's
reason.
unkillable. One of those things. So,
It
um,
was an engine that I custom built. There's
now
no reason why this thing could die.
we got out to Hutchinson, which was 22 miles, and I mean, I remember Troy saying something about it getting hot, and we made it out there. It was fine. Well, when we got to the driveway of his apartment complex, was it when we were at the driveway, or was it after I'd done the computer work? Because I remember I did the computer
And,
work.
and we had actually gotten into the driveway of the apartment, if I remember right. And what happened was, all of a sudden, I was like, "Bro, there's something wrong," and there's all this steam and radiator fluid
Oh
blew
yeah,
out
we
of the
were
truck,
overheating. Yeah, we were
overheating,
yeah.
and it blew the radiator. The radiator blew apart. The radiator blew apart in the truck inside the front. It blew apart. It blew up. It actually exploded without overheating somehow.
Yeah, it had a
We don't
hole
know how.
somehow.
It was a metal radiator, somehow a solid steel radiator that was original with that truck that had no plastic lining in 1990 somehow exploded for no reason. And
Yeah.
that was a clean, repainted, repolished. I mean, I even coated the thing. There was no reason why. Just
Well,
exploded.
okay. So after that, I remember going in, and I didn't think it was a big deal because I thought I had everything I needed with me, and it turns out I go in to check my blood sugar because Troy's over here looking at the truck. There's not a whole lot I can do because it's a one-man job. I'm a mechanic also. Troy is a mechanic also. We're both mechanics, and we're both brothers. And we basically, he's looking at the truck. I say, bro, let me see the key to your apartment. I'm gonna go in the bathroom. I'm gonna check my blood sugar. I go in the bathroom and I check. I'm wearing this coat and I look in my pocket where the insulin pouch, where everything is, my tester, my insulin, everything is supposed to be, and it's gone. Okay? So I'm looking everywhere for it. It's not here. I look in the truck. It's not there. Okay, so apparently I forgot my insulin. So I decide, okay, Troy wants me to come out here and work on the computer. So while he's working on the truck, because we got to get back, I got to work that night, I got to get back. I work at the gas station, and I go ahead and I I work on the computer. I get the computer running tip-top shape, perfect. Basically, we had to run the DISM tool. I don't know if anybody knows what that is, but if you don't, that's fine. It's a repair tool for Windows 10. And so I run that. I run disk checks. I run everything else on it, and I'm doing well. I'm fine. I feel fine. And then I go outside and I start working with Troy on the truck. You know, to see if there's anything I can do to help because I'm mechanic also. We're both mechanics. And I didn't tell Troy that I didn't have my insulin because I didn't want to put any extra stress on Troy because he's working on this truck. He's already frustrated. He's already stressed out. And I don't think it's a big deal because I think that I can make it through without that insulin. That should be fine because my blood sugar is like 100. It's not bad. It's not high. But what insulin does is it allows you to drop your blood sugar so that you can process sugar and you don't go into a coma and die, basically. So Troy and I are working on the radiator. We finally get the radiator out of the truck, and we go up. We don't have another vehicle, so I have Troy.
Had to.
Yeah, we had to walk everywhere. It was freezing ass cold. It was like,
So what happened was we had a freak temperature drop. It went from being 65 degrees. We arrived around, I believe it was around noon, and it was between the spring and the winter, or the winter and actually no, what was it? It was October, wasn't it?
yeah, it was late October.
It's October, yeah, because Halloween was coming up.
Yeah,
But I do recall what happened. Um, in some aspects, we had basically taken the radiator out, and Elijah wasn't feeling too good. My brother was not feeling too good, and I was like, "Bro, are you okay?"
yeah. By the
And he
time
says,
we'd gotten that radiator out, I started
"Like, I'm
feeling a
so
little
sorry."
rough, and I didn't know exactly what was going on because while I've been a diabetic for like 15 years, sometimes it's hard for me to determine without being able to test my blood glucose level if it's
Yeah,
that or if it's something else that's causing me to not
I
feel
got.
well. And we started
It.
walking up to
We
O'Reilly
started
Auto Part.
carried that. I carried that gigantic, heavy steel piece of crap radiator that hurt my hands.
Yeah, we took
Okay,
turns carrying that.
the first thing, that sucker, we walked down 3 blocks. which in Hutchinson, I hate to say it, it
Oh, it
was
was
quite
more
a
than 3
ways from.
blocks. It was
It
probably
was quite.
about 10 or 12 blocks.
It took a half an hour to get there. I don't know how
Well,
long it was, but it was
okay,
too darn long.
we
That
walked
much.
from 11th we walked from 11th Street to 4th Street. O'Reilly Auto Parts was on 4th Street. They had told
Yeah,
us on the phone, they had told Troy that they had the correct radiator for the
they
truck.
had the correct radiator. Yes,
And
but the problem was they ran it off the VIN,
yeah,
and the VIN was wrong because that engine was the wrong engine. That truck originally had a 454 V8, which, if you guys don't know anything about the 7.4 liter V8, that thing had a
we're
7.4 liter
talking
V8 in it.
Chevy Big Block.
A big block, a big motor.
Yeah,
But the current motor in it was a Chevy 350 at that time, a
350 small
smaller engine.
block, V8.
And the problem was you cannot fit that size of radiator into that space with the adapters that are adapted for a smaller engine because they had swapped it before I bought it. They had swapped it,
And
and so the adapters.
I
I knew
remember
that.
we had, I know a lot of you are going to say, why didn't you just take off the adapters? Well, here's the problem. When you swap out the adapters and you don't have the original, the original mounts for the original radiator, you can't mount
Yeah,
anything else in there. And we didn't have those original mounts, and we couldn't get those original mounts. In fact,
especially the Chevy.
the big
It's
block
not.
mounts were actually, or the small block mounts were actually welded in. They're welded in. So we couldn't do anything with that.
They were custom made. Somebody took the time. I don't know who, and I'd like to say hello to them if I met them. By golly. But they took their sweet time and welded in those mounts to where you could not switch them out. You had to cut,
Yeah,
and I did not have a cutting torch. So
and then we'd have to
that's
weld new ones in.
I was mad. So
So
that was the first failure.
we walked all the way up there. They had the wrong radiator. They didn't have our radiator in stock. And so we walked all the way back after making several phone calls to AutoZone, which was clear across town on 30th Avenue. Now, bear in mind, we're on 4th Street, and 30th Avenue, he lives on 11th at the time, and the
Yeah.
truck's on 11th. And we have to walk all the way back to 30th. So we got no wheels at this point. I am high blood sugar
And
city, producing
yeah,
ketones, and my body is shutting down, and I'm not realizing it, but I'm fighting it and keeping going and
and
trying not to say anything.
that point it was 4 p.m. The temperature was dropping down to 32 degrees Fahrenheit, and it had dropped down to 25 degrees Fahrenheit with a wind chill that made it feel like it was actually 15 degrees Fahrenheit. It was getting colder and colder, and the only thing we had to wear, and in fact, I did give
Yeah,
you my jacket, but it was enormous on you, but it
yeah,
still
I
fit you. It
I
kept.
didn't bring a proper coat. I had a thin jacket because when we started out, it was warm and it was unexpected temperature drop.
60
So
plus degrees.
it was like
60 plus degrees.
67 degrees or 68 degrees when we started. It was unexpected that it would just drop so rapidly like that. I remember that. And that's why I hadn't brought a thick coat. In fact, I think that what had happened actually was I had put my insulin in the thick coat like I was going to bring it, and I wanted to bring it. And then I stepped outside and I realized that it was like 65, 70 degrees. And so I left it at home thinking that I had my insulin in the actual pocket where, in my thinner coat that I had on. So that's left at home now, and I'm without it. And the more you walk without being able to process sugar because of no insulin in your body, and that's a whole story for another day, that diabetic thing. We can tell you that another time. I'm an expert on that. I've done it 16 years. At this point, we're walking. We realize that, okay, O'Reilly doesn't have the
We're
part.
walking to O'Reilly Auto Parts. Yes. What happened was we
We're
had the
walking.
wrong port to AutoZone, not O'Reilly's, bro.
Yep, we're walking to
We had
AutoZone.
just walked back from O'Reilly's that had the wrong radiator for us.
Yep.
That was wrong. We could not fix it. We tried to make it work. We tried to fit it in there. In fact, we tried to make it work. It would not work because it was too big.
Yep.
Because some
It's 446 or
person that I would
454.
like to say with choice words, some person I like to say with choice words, that was not me. Someone who owned the truck before me.
Yeah.
And it would not fit. So we had to walk all the way back. And we had, okay, I'll skip a few points here. We had walked back to the apartment. I had called O'Reilly's on the walk back and said, hey, O'Reilly,
It's
auto
not the right
parts,
radiator. Not going to fit.
have anything that would fit this? They said, no, we don't, and we can't order it for up to a week.
Mm-hmm.
Then we called AutoZone, and I called AutoZone, which was right down the street. That was about maybe, I think it was 5 blocks away.
We were on 11th. It was on 30th, so we went diagonal, so it would have been 1, 2, 3,
It was
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 blocks from us. It still was about
O'Reilly's on
9
4.
blocks because I just counted them in my mind, the map.
Well, not quite 9 blocks either, but they were big blocks, so we were talking about
Yeah,
at least
we're
5,
talking
6.
city blocks.
Either
And
way, the up down,
so we had to carry
and it
the radiator that was the wrong radiator back to O'Reilly and then walk all the
we
way
dropped it off.
back to AutoZone because we wanted to get our
I
money back
threw,
so we can buy the new radiator that's the right radiator from AutoZone that they said they
yeah,
had.
yeah. But remember, I had the junk radiator I carried with me all the way up there,
Mm-hmm.
and I threw it in the back of the truck, the junk one, and it shattered like glass. It was crazy. It broke apart.
Yeah.
So mad. And you're like, bro, what the heck are you doing? I said, this truck is making me so mad. I'm gonna set it on fire, bro. I'm gonna burn
I
this
was like,
thing
bro,
down. I hate this.
bro,
Don't.
you're
Troy's
at
not
this
small.
level. Bro, you're at this level, okay? I need
You're
you
like the
to concentrate. I need you to focus. I need you to come down about 20 notches, okay? We can think our way
remember,
through this. Let's just keep our wits about us and not be frustrated. Let's get through this. And so we started
actually, my truck
walking.
still has a dent.
We started
My truck still has
walking
a dent.
because that's the only thing we
Yeah.
had. We had to walk. And we walk up.
I got so mad. I remember, bro. Remember, I punched the truck so hard. I actually broke my pinky finger.
Yeah,
But
I remember
didn't
that.
care. Got so mad. I punched my truck. I still have a dent to this day in that driver's side fender on the back.
Yeah, I remember that.
I was so mad because I knew you were sick and there was nothing I could do about it, and you were getting
See,
worse.
that's
And I
part.
was like, oh my god, brother's getting worse. I gotta
See
help him.
that's
But
part of it. See, I didn't say anything to Troy about me being sick. Apparently, at that time, by that time, I was showing symptoms, or he could sense it. Because see, and that's the thing that between us, between me and all of my family members, Troy, myself, Andrew, my mom, and everybody else, we can sense each other's energy. We feel how each other feel. And it's weird, it sounds crazy, but it's absolutely true. And it's because we're sensitives and we can sense. We're more like mediumistic. We're medium type
yeah.
people.
And
That's
what happened? Okay, after that, I sensed it. The whole time we were walking, I sensed it. And it was a good half-hour walk to this place that was near 17th. And you guys probably don't know if you know Hutchinson that well, but we walked all the way out to AutoZone. And we walked to AutoZone. And at first, the radiator they said would fit the 1500 was correct, but it was for a 305 Chevy.
mm-hmm.
A 305. And we grabbed that radiator from the 305 Chevy, and we brought it back. It didn't fit. It was too small.
So the second trip,
It was too small.
we
The
yanked it
second
out.
trip. And we put it in. We installed it. Remember, we hooked up the hoses. We installed it. Problem was the hoses were the wrong size, and the brackets did not fit, and that thing would rattle like hell. It would not work.
Yeah.
At this point, you were pale. You were very sick, and you said, bro, I gotta go. I gotta rest. I'm sick. I'm gonna throw up. And you start throwing up. Sick.
I was going into full blown I don't know if any of you guys know what this is called, DKA, or diabetic ketoacidosis. It's where your body is your blood sugar is so high that your body your blood becomes acidic, your body is basically producing ketones. And if you don't know what
You
ketones are, you can look it up. And basically, what it amounts to is it's very, very bad. Your body is destroying itself because it cannot produce insulin for itself, and you can't have any insulin because you don't have any. And basically, you will go into a coma at a certain point, and you will pass out, and you will go into a coma, and you will die if you don't get treated very, very soon. Um, so I was talking to Troy, and I said, bro, I feel absolutely horrible, and I can't continue. I'm sorry. I don't know what to
begged
do,
you.
but
I begged you that last time, brother. Remember, I begged you. I said, bro, we gotta do this one more time. Please. Please come with me, bro. I'm so sorry.
I
Please
said,
come with me.
bro,
And you said, no, bro, I can't walk. I can't do this anymore.
yeah, I started
Yeah,
feeling
you dragged
symptoms.
the strength. We dragged that radiator back, that small radiator back, and we walked back, and it was 15 degrees, freezing cold in thin jackets, and I ran back upstairs, and you went back upstairs with me at that point with that junk-ass radiator, junker
Yeah,
radiator,
yeah.
piece of junk radiator that was the wrong size.
So I went into the
Okay, so
bathroom. I told you I was going to try to check my blood sugar, but my tester, when I went to check for it, it was gone. It was not there. It was because I had forgotten it. I had left it behind. So
and I thought you
I
did.
was throwing up, and I come out and I said, bro, I know these symptoms. My blood sugar is high. My blood sugar is very, very high. And if I don't get insulin soon, I will most likely pass out and I may not wake up. This is very, very serious.
I said, bro, is there any way I can call an ambulance or anything? And you said, no, we can't because we don't have health insurance.
Don't have
There was
health
a lot to it.
insurance, don't have medical insurance. I don't know this town. I don't know this hospital. They don't know me. They don't know my symptoms. They don't know how to treat me. They're going to check me. They're going to keep me in the doctor's office. And I was still at that point, I was still bent
Yeah.
on getting to work that night. I don't know why,
Yeah.
because I
And I
guess
was like, brother, you cannot do this to yourself because I don't want to see this happen to you. I got to do something. Is there anything I can do? And he said, bro,
I said, bro,
just.
we've got to get the truck fixed and you've got to get me home so I can get medicine in my body so I don't die.
But then
So,
I said to myself, I said to you, I said, bro, what if I can't do it? And then you said,
as a last resort, we call an ambulance. And that's where I basically said, bro, I know you might need my help, but I can't even think straight. I feel like I am drunk. I haven't drank anything, but I cannot function. You have got to fix this. If you don't fix it, call an ambulance. If you can't fix it, call an ambulance. I'm going to stay here. I'm going to lay down for a while, and I cannot keep going. So I laid down on the floor, and I don't remember a whole lot after that until I woke up.
but bro, I can't. If I can't do it, if I fail, what am I gonna do? It's almost 7 p.m. I mean, what's gonna happen? It's almost 7 p.m. You haven't had insulin, and if I can't do it in time, the store closes in like less than an hour and a half.
And by
And
that
then you
time,
were out.
yeah,
You
I
were out.
had lost consciousness. I was no longer me.
At that point, he was unconscious, and he doesn't remember anything at that point. My brother.
I don't
At
even
that point, I
remember the end of that conversation or how it went. I don't think that it continued. I think the last
it
thing,
did, but you remember it because you were so out of it at that point that you didn't. And I was in tears. I really was. I'm not dramatically acting. I actually really was in tears. I'm actually. This is actually how I felt when this happened. This is actually how I'm reacting as like as it happened. But what happened was I ran out. I had that radiator from that 305 piece of crap engine that was not correct. And I ran down to AutoZone. I got there at 7:30 p.m. by myself in this blowing like drizzle crap that was going on. It was like a snow, but it wasn't quite like it was like a freezing rain almost that was happening, a very slow drop of rain. Okay. So you know how when you're having a very slow kind of rain, but it freezes in the air because it's so cold? That
Yeah.
was happening. Plus a powerful wind of 15 to 25 mile per hour
So you had
blowing
a
in my
wind
face the
chill.
whole time. Yeah, that wind chill on top of that
Yep.
with that junk radiator. And what happened was I walked down to AutoZone and I said, "You had better give me a Chevy 350 radiator with no engine cooler that has basically a Chevy 350 with no transmission cooler, a stock Chevy 350. I don't care what year it is, 1976, 1983, I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
Give me one. A 1976, and God rest me on that one. A 1976 radiator fit that truck. I ran back, and I was like, "Oh my God, you better fit! You better freaking fit!" I ran back. I was crying, and I fit that damn thing into that truck. It fit. I had to clamp off that hose on the bottom, turn off that little valve, and shut that valve, and stuff a freaking pipe into it, piece of plastic pipe into it, and then I filled it up, filled and filled and filled and filled. I bought, I think it was like 4 gallons of radiator fluid, ran back in the apartment, checked on you. You were not even snoring, barely breathing. And I said, "Bro, hey, bro, bro, wake up. Bro, are you alive? Bro." I slapped you, remember? I slapped you.
I remember that, and I remember you had your fingers on my neck, checking my pulse.
I did.
It was
Guys,
hard. It was really hard. I remember it was really
I
hard
was
to wake up. It was hard to move. It took
crying. I've
every.
never cried so hard in my entire life.
It,
And here I was, a 24-year-old man,
it took
crying my eyes
every
out.
bit of energy that I had just to open my eyes. I remember that like it was
I said,
yesterday.
"Brother, wake up. If you don't wake up, I will wake you up. Brother, it's fixed. Bro, if you don't wake up right now, I will wake you up. What is it going to take to wake you up? Please wake up."
I said something
I was
weird. I
crying.
remember I said something weird. I think I said, bro,
I remember your
you
exact
gotta
words, too. You
you gotta
said,
get me some coffee or something like that, something to that effect, or something. You gotta
said,
get me some
said you better
caffeine.
get some coffee and you better get that woman away from me. And I don't know why you said that, but I
It was
felt that was a female
because I remember
voice.
something that was really weird that was going on.
Mhm.
When
That place.
I There was something weird going on with that apartment, and I know you know that it was haunted, that it was creepy, um,
Yeah.
but I kept having. Now, bear in mind, I was not of sound mind, but what I kept
Now,
having
I
happen,
carried you from the bathroom where you were passed out by the toilet onto my bed.
there was a woman in that
And I
apartment
said,
that was. She kept. It was weird. It was like she kept trying to get on top of me, and then but she wasn't like a human woman. She was like like an
that
old, evil looking
for you.
hag with
There
like
wasn't a thing in that house. I knew
like a
that in
rotten
that apartment.
flesh on her face from what I saw, like a demon, like almost like
And
almost
there
like a
was.
what do you call that? A succubus, like a demon, a
Yeah,
demonic, evil looking
there
hag.
were demons in the house. I will admit, there were demons in that place. And I lived there. I had lived there for like 2 years, so I knew. But there were demons there.
But she kept getting
And my brother
near
never
me.
believed that they were there. He had never seen them until them
I had never
before.
seen them up until then, but I had felt them. So I didn't completely I didn't like say
So,
that Troy wasn't telling the truth or anything like that, but I didn't ever had never seen them with my eyes. When you're in a state like I was in, where you're semi-conscious and you're not completely with it, and you're sensitive like I am and like Troy is, a lot of times what will happen is things will happen to you and you'll think that they're a dream. And if they're paranormal things, then they can actually seem like they are a dream. And then you'll think about them later and you'll realize, wait a minute, I was awake. I know I was awake. And so
but it
that,
was
I wholeheartedly believe that that was real.
for those that are interested in the full story beyond the spirits that were in that apartment. That is another one for another day. But beyond that, my brother had seen that and experienced that for the first time. But I do remember I dragged my brother, and my brother is not a very lightweight guy. He's a fairly big guy. He's actually about, what are you, like
I
five
think,
foot nine? 10?
yeah, I'm 5'9", and at the time I weighed 156 pounds.
Yeah, and I was 262 pounds. I was 262 pounds at 6'1". 262. I was a very muscular yet somewhat heavy set man at the time.
Because Troy was a corrections officer, so at the time,
I
so
was a correction officer at the time. Yes, I was.
and
I was a correction officer.
yeah,
I
so
was a very big man.
I don't
And I
remember a whole lot about the sequence of events that occurred between getting from the apartment to the truck, um,
I
because
can
my
tell you
mind
that one.
was kind of scrambled. But
I
uh,
carried him down the stairs. I did carry him down the stairs. I recall that. I carried my brother down the stairs, and I held him like firemen's carry. And I'm an ex-wrestler, so I know how to do these moves. Fireman's carry down the stairs, and I opened the door to the passenger side of the truck and put him in the truck and buckled him in. But he remembers
I don't
a little more
remember
detail.
a whole lot. I don't. I really don't. I remember.
In your eye, you said something to me, and I don't remember what you said anymore.
I don't remember. I don't remember what happened much at all after that, except for I remember waking up in the truck you were driving, and we were going really, really fast, and there was wind, and I could hear the engine that was just screaming. And I
It's
said
something else too.
something, but I don't remember
Yeah.
what.
And okay, what's really scary about this is that truck is not your standard Chevy 350. That is a 383 stroker V8 with a stock camshaft. That I custom built this thing. It was a college project engine. I bought that truck in 1990 Chevy. I actually bought that truck. It was sitting for a long time at a dealership, and I turned around and bought it for really cheap. I put the new motor, transmission, custom built it, and it was my college project at Hutch Community College, and I actually custom built that motor. I had it taken down, the engine taken down and rebuilt at a place that was in it's like western Kansas,
Something I
and stripped
remember
down.
about that. Um, you know how
That
you
was
have
a
like
three.
a dashed line in the middle of the highway? Well, I do remember
Yeah,
this. That dashed line in the middle of the highway,
that motor had
it was
490
no longer a dashed white line
to
or
4.
yellow line. Um, it was a solid flickering yellow line, and it was
No, I
dark.
didn't. Here's the problem, bro. I didn't know how fast I was going. I know that engine is a turbo 350. Okay, it's a T350 transmission. I know it's got about 390 horse. It's dynoed at 385. I know it sounds ridiculous, but it actually did have a lot of power, and that truck only weighs about 4,800 pounds. Okay, that's a long bed Chevy.
Mm-hmm.
And I floored that truck as fast as it would go. At first, we were going cruising speed about 35, 40 mile an hour. Once we exited town, though, I hit that Ken Kennedy and freeway and just floored it as fast as it would go. It was dead of night. I mean, we were talking 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night, I think it was at that point. As fast as that damn truck would go. I only saw it has a needleless dial that would go to 85.
Mm-hmm.
But if you go past 85, the bottom part will start showing black.
Mm-hmm.
All I remember is that bottom part went up to 25 mile per hour, bottom part black. So I know I was going pretty quick, and you woke up at that point. And that thing was just taking off faster and faster and
I
faster.
don't remember what I said to you though. I said something about um I said
Slow down,
something
you're
about
gonna
the truck. You slow down, you're gonna kill us. Something like that. Yeah, exactly. Slow down, bro. You're gonna
because
kill us.
I hit that curve at that curb road, and the tires squealed, and the truck kind of like flip over. I
Plus,
heard it hit it so hard.
I think what popped into my head also was I realized that we were going really fast. It was snowing, and I was worried
Like,
that, or it had snowed. I think it had like sleeted or something like that. I was worried about ice, and
it
so
was
I was
it,
like,
it
slow
was
down, bro.
snowing.
You're gonna kill us. And
Yeah,
I
it
kind of
was huge.
more or less had it's almost like a second wind. It's like you kind of wake up and snap into reality. You have these kind of moments where you snap in and out of reality, in and out of your body, more or less. And at that point, I was fighting super hard. It's almost like you haven't slept in like 3 or 4 days, and your
Yeah,
body is fighting because it can't
we
get
drifted.
energy.
At one
So,
point, we drifted. I don't know when or where. My memory's not clear on that either, because all I know is that white. You know how you have the striped line on the road,
mhm,
okay? The striped line on the road. It was a solid line. I don't know how
yeah,
fast I was going, but all I
that's
remember
what I
is
woke up and remember.
I looked down at the speedometer, and the needleless dial, it rolls. It's like a little wheel. It rolls like in a circle. The needleless dial is a roller.
Yeah.
Well, it actually had rolled all the way over to 35 miles per hour, like to the point where the black line that usually indicates 0, that black line was hitting 35. It said 35 in the black line on the 0 part. The rest of it below that was black.
Hmm.
I was going fast. And that engine was screaming. I mean, the pedal was to the floor.
Well, the radiator
As
worked.
fast. And the radiator did work, yes. A hell of a test of a radiator.
That's a hell of
My
a test
God.
of a new radiator. Just run the fuck
And
out of it until it
funny
just.
enough, it's not funny to me. Sure as hell ain't funny to me. It kind of
Oh,
pisses
it's
me
not
off, but
funny. I kind of laugh when I'm, here's the funny thing about me that was really weird. When
that,
I'm nervous, when I'm thinking about something, I'm recalling where I was really nervous and that kind of stuff. I oftentimes, it's not funny, but I will laugh about things because
yeah,
we made it through. We're alive. I'm alive. I'm really happy to say, guys, I'm
but
alive. I survived an ordeal.
I saved my brother's life that day. I saved his life. And it's my fault that it happened in the first place, but
Well,
I saved his life.
it's kind of a combination of both of our faults that it happened actually. I mean, and I don't think that
I
it was Troy's fault so much as it was mine because I was the one that had a lack of judgment, a lapse of judgment, and I left my insulin pouch in my jacket, which I was supposed to take with me, and I hadn't. And Troy, as far as anything being Troy's fault, Troy did everything he could within his power to make absolutely sure that he could get me to where I could get my medicine and get there safe and alive. And also, Troy, when I could not go anymore, Troy actually carried me. He literally carried me to safety, to the truck, and got me home. And when we got home, by the time I got home, I was actually I had gotten this kind of second wind thing where I could actually walk a little bit, but I still felt like I was drunk or like
No.
suffering a hangover.
You woke up a little bit and you said, "Bro, grab me the needle, grab me the insulin. I'm gonna inject myself."
I
You woke
said,
up enough to do that.
I said, I need to measure this insulin out very carefully. Um, while I do trust my brother tremendously, I trust my brother with my life. It's something that he had never done before. And so, as far as measuring insulin goes and that kind of stuff, we want to make sure that it is, when you're coming back from ketoacidosis, it's very important that you measure your doses very carefully. You want to go, most likely, usually, depending on how high you are, first you want to measure your blood glucose. You want to see what it is. If it says HI, you want to go in 10 unit increments if you're talking about Humalog. And you want to drop it a little bit at a time. You want to wait. You want to drop it a little bit at a time. You want to wait. You want to drop it a little bit at a time. You want to wait. Generally, they will put you into the intensive care unit if you go into ketoacidosis because they want to make sure that you're okay, that your kidneys are functioning and everything else. But that last time I was in the ER, it cost me $9,000 that I did not have. Ambulance ride is another $700, which I could have. Yeah, I could
Uh,
have, and I probably should have taken an ambulance ride at that point, but for some reason, in my state of mind, I was not thinking clearly. So,
you know, and what scared me was I didn't know the following statement that you said. I didn't know that. I thought, well, maybe I didn't know anything about insulin. Thought, oh my God, maybe I can help him. But then I thought, I gotta wake him up. He's gotta be awake enough. Is he gonna tell me what he knows? Is he gonna be awake, alert enough? There's gotta be
yeah.
something here.
So,
And luckily you were alert enough because otherwise I would have given you just 10 units and God knows
and
if I would get any wrong or anything
Troy,
like that. I knew how, but I'm not that great. I mean, I'm only a basically trained
yeah,
person on basic medical first aid.
and Troy
I'm not
actually, Troy actually stayed that night
nice.
with me. He slept on the futon here in the studio. This is the same studio, the studio room, where this basically had happened, but 2017, and he slept on the futon right here, right where next to where I'm sitting right now, and he stayed with me, basically all night. I fell asleep in my chair at my desk, and
And I was there. I was gonna make sure, and I kept checking his pulse, kept checking his heart rate, making sure everything was okay. And I made sure that he was still breathing. And he got a little bit annoyed. He woke up a few times, but by God, I was gonna make sure he was okay because that's the kind of brother I am.
now see,
I'm not the kind of brother to just leave him behind like that.
as
But
far
this
as
happened, everything like that.
getting annoyed goes, it's not something that you have control over. A lot of you guys will say,
Diabetic,
you know,
have that control. You just have
it's
emotional
a
stress a
lot of
lot
people
when you're
are
diabetic.
gonna say, okay, well, you shouldn't have been annoyed or anything like that. He's trying to save your life. Well, here's the thing. When you have an extremely high blood glucose or an extremely low blood glucose or you're in ketoacidosis, a lot of times what happens is you go into a mental state because your brain is affected by the level of blood sugar that you have. And you will go into this very cranky state. You don't understand what's going on. You don't understand why you're upset. You don't understand anything, but you you basically just you react. I mean, as far as I go, I've never been to the point where I would like fight anybody or anything like that, but um, sometimes you'll snap at people a little bit, and I'm really glad that Troy actually saw me through this because if it weren't for him, I don't think I would be alive. This is one of those types of things where I really don't think that I would be here today if it weren't for Troy, and if it weren't for myself also having the strength to keep pushing my body beyond a broken point to just keep going. So
And yet, when you say that, I still feel bad about it. I mean, I do, because I mean, you came there to help me with my computer, and a freak thing happened where the truck just blew the radiator like that, and we couldn't fix it quickly.
yeah,
And
well,
you forgot. It's not your fault that you forgot your diabetic supplies. Yet I remind you every time.
yeah,
Remember
he
this.
does. He literally does.
Ev-
Every time
Not
that we go
any place,
anywhere, every
not
time we go
matter where
anywhere, it doesn't
you
even
go.
matter where. If we're not within walking distance of like our
Do
homes, he
not
lives
forget.
right next to me now.
Bro,
He's my neighbor next door now. Every time we go
do not
anywhere, he's like, "Hey, bro, do you have your
ever.
insulin with you?" And I always check my pockets. I'm like, "Oh yeah, it's right here. I got it," and I make sure.
And there's been a lot of times actually, like oh crap, I forgot it. Let me go grab
Oh
it.
yeah, shit. Let me go get it. I forgot it. Let me go get it.
Look,
Yeah.
yeah, that has
So
happened a few times,
one
but
of
that
those.
is head now. I will never let him forget that, because the one time I saved his life like that, and that's been a few times. I mean, there's a lot more stories than this,
Yeah,
but this is a honest to God true story that happened that could have been
life or death.
a life or death tragedy where I saved his life. And guys, you can say what you want about me on this, but and me and Elijah on this, but we actually are closer as brothers
As a
because of what
result of
happened.
what happened, yeah, we actually are.
Uh,
And actually, Troy now lives right next door to me. So we're neighbors. We're brothers and we're neighbors
yeah,
now. But,
I blame myself for a while there, but it took me a while, and honest,
yeah,
it was something that was a freak thing.
yeah.
Now I realize that if it wasn't for me and this happened, my brother wouldn't be here,
Yep.
and my brother realizes that too.
Yep.
And that's the kind of brotherhood we have. It's a crazy thing that happened, and that's the true story.
So this is just one of the stories, and this is not even the scariest or worst or one of the stories. Believe me, there are so many stories that are true of things that have happened to us that would rarely ever, if ever, I've never heard of some of these things actually happening to other people, but they seriously, honestly have happened to us in our lifetime. And we've overcome so much adversity in this world and so many things, paranormal things, even, um, you know, and just weird luck, bad luck, good luck, even things like that in our time. And if you guys would like to hear more of our stories and you would like to um, basically join in and join
Yeah.
us in the comments, leave us a comment down below. Let us know if
As
you
me,
like our stories, and if you want to join in the discussion, feel free to hit us up and let us know. Leave us a like, and we'll continue to make a weekly podcast for you all so that we can share more of our experiences with you. And, you know, always, always be true to yourself.
as a brother to a brother, we may be 10 years apart, but that one day, me and him were closer than we've ever been, ever before. And surely we grew up differently. But that one night, we actually helped each other in a way that we never thought we would before. And the fact that we are still together as brothers means a lot, and a lot more. And I just want to say this. People who help each other, that are brothers or family, and you keep an eye on each other, can save lives. I saved my brother's life. I saved his life that day. And he will never forget that. And I will never forget that. God was with us that day.
God bless everybody who's listening. And I've always got Troy's back, and Troy's always got my back. And we're a lot closer than, like he said, we are a lot closer than we ever were before. And we will remain absolutely in that, to that extent, that we will always watch out for each other. And at this point, like I said, Troy moved next door to me, and we are now neighbors, because when we were that far away from each other, he was on his own, and I was on my own, and I was extremely alone, and I know Troy was extremely alone. He had nobody in the world, and I had nobody in the world, and so now we've got each other's backs, 100%, and I know that if anything goes wrong, Troy's got my back. And I know that if anything goes wrong, I've got Troy's back. 100%. Stay close to your family. Stay close to your friends. And you all take care. Be true to yourselves. And thank you for listening. If you like our podcast, please hit like and let us know so we can continue to make more. Stay tuned for more stories. And take care, everybody. This is the first 85 Studios podcast. I'm Elijah.
And I'm Troy Boy. Thank you so much for listening to our...
We are out. Take care, everyone.